Kevin McStay, the worst kept secret in Gaelic games. He's been ratified as new Mayo manager, but I think what's the big sort of story here is the backdrop. His backroom team involves Stephen Rochford, obviously, who's the former Mayo manager, and he's coached from 2016 to 2018. Donny Buckley, Lee McHale, who's his brother-in-law, and Damien Mulligan from Belmullet, who were last year's beaten county finalists in Mayo. I mean, David Brady, if you're not going to win the All-Ireland now, you'll never win it.
It's I won't say it's something or bust, but it's look at it. It's very positive. It's very positive, and again, I think from a Mayo perspective, Kevin McStay, who for myself is a fellow clubman from Ballina Stephenites, he has worn his heart in his sleeve over the last few years, and he didn't shy away from saying this is what he wanted, and part of his life's ambition was to manage Mayo, and he deserves it. As regards experience and achievements and accomplishments, he has over the last 20 years he's immersed himself in GAA, whether it's in Roscommon or Mayo. He has managed underage teams, Mayo under 21 teams. He has managed St. Bridget's to the All Ireland club title. He's got provincial clubs. He's won county championships with clubs, not just one or two, but. And again, he's not saying he is the Messiah. What he's saying is that he is astute, he is experienced enough, and he has the know-how to bring in a very, very experienced backroom team with him. And again, I would nearly go as far as saying they're all Mayo men, because Tony Buckley is nearly an honorary Mayo man at this stage, and a massive. I suppose area of his expertise is his coaching, but that coaching is now twinned with Stephen Rochford. And people say to me, why do you think Rochford is going back? And why do what's in it for him? He's only in it for one thing, and that's for the benefit of Mayo football. And again, his experience as a manager, he's willing to put his shoulder to the wheel now as a selector. And I think it's a very, very positive outcome, and I think it was a positive process as well from the Mayo County Board perspective. There was a lot of good men that went and put their names forward with some substantial backroom teams, and it is now what we want to focus on in Mayo is there's a new manager in place. Club championship starts next weekend, and I think it's massively positive.
What sort of fella is Kevin?
You know what? I wouldn't, and he's a club mate of mine, but he's a Ballina man, but a bit like myself, he's not living there for the last 30 years nearly. He's been based in Roscommon. The one thing, and from knowing Kevin and knowing players that have played under him, and I suppose even talking to some of the Bridges, he's very, very fair. He's very astute and he's very articulate. And again, I do think that his game sense and his nuances that he can bring to the game, and his in-game management, I think, is going to be very positive from a Mayo perspective. We can look back in scenarios, circumstances, and situations where, if we just had made one or two different tweaks in our game management, things could be different. But I think that's what Kevin brings, and he's a very humble, down to earth. And yes, he has had a media profile, and he has been a pundit for the last 20-odd years. But it's not the limelight he seeks. It's the betterment of players and the clubs and the teams he's been with. And I think he's a very good fit from a Mayo perspective.
You got the feeling as well, just like watching him obviously and listening to him on RT and reading him in the Irish Times, that's like he does like eat, sleep and drink football. He's thinking about a game that is, has evolved a lot, is continuing to evolve, and obviously wants to give this another go after the Roscommon experience.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the other one abiding thing for me is that Kevin McStay gave an interview when he was Roscommon manager, and I think Marty Morrissey was interviewing, but it got bet, and it was absolutely bucketing down hailstones, and you hard to nearly go out to him, but he had the decency and I suppose the respect to after a defeat like that, to talk very open and honest, and I think that's what he will bring to the setup. He's very open, he's very honest, and he deserves, for me, he deserves this. And you know yourself in the media, Johnny, half the people love you and the other half hate you, but that's only what you see from the outside, but from the inside in the football team and from a context, this is not a one-man show. Not that it ever has been as such, but he will rely and he will seek expertise, experience, insight from likes of Liam McHale, who has been his right-hand man over the years. Again, another Ballina man. Damien Mulligan, who has a great insight into club football in Mayo, and Stephen Rochford, who was linked with numerous jobs or vacancies in the GAA world in the last 6 months. But the reality was that he did plant a flag with Kevin McStay and says he will go in to do whatever he can for Mayo football. I think it's very, very positive.
Before we talk about McStay, Mulligan and Buckley, like I mean, just from the outside looking in, I don't know Stephen Rochford, but I really admire someone like this who's been in the main job but is willing to say, I will be subservient for the greater good here, and I will go in as somebody who's going to work under Kevin McStay for the betterment of my county.
And you know what? And there will be hints and allegations and everything else that it's for something else, and it's not. And he is very much attention to detail. And again, he's doing it for one reason. And again, probably I wouldn't be 100% in saying that if you've managed Mayo before, you get a second chance if you got them to a final. I think we've done that. And again, James Horan, John Mahan, John O'Mahony, but to come in as a selector and to offer that advice and guidance and experience, you couldn't ask for from a better setup, in all fairness, and it's very commendable from Stephen Rochford's point of view.
Bill Mullet lost to Knockmore last year, and this brings me to Damien Mulligan. What's he going to bring to the ticket?
Damien is a very, very honest guy and very astute. If I put them all them boys together, they're very deep thinkers, them all. And again, Liam McHale, I spent many years nearly sleeping with Liam McHale. Never mind getting to know him. But
we'd like to take all accusations away from off the ball tonight about you sleeping with Liam McHale. But we'll get Liam on to deny or confirm that. I do remember both of you soldiering hard in the green and red, to be fair. And in fairness, Liam, with what he's done in terms of his own coaching background, involved with Nace, I think, as well in recent years. What will he bring to it?
Liam would be an excellent overall coach. I think his area expertise would be kind of forward midfield play, and he's a good man manager. Liam is. You will go a long way to find anyone that has ever worked under Liam or with him to say a bad word about him. And that's what you kind of need in a context of a management team. He'd be a very good one-to-one man with players, them understanding him and him understanding the players. And I think Liam has a wealth of experience over the last 30 years as well from a football perspective. Liam actually was a selector previously with Mayo under John Mahan. And when Liam actually retired and came back and was a selector, and I played under him as well, and very, very open and very honest, and that's all you can ask to be. You want from a selector and to be independent.
And Donny Buckley as well. I mean, he's done the miles at this stage.
He's done the miles because he's the best coach in the country, and again, he has that affinity with Mayo. He knows football inside out, and again. It's Donny just loves football, loves coaching. It's his like there's no one else that eats, sleeps and drinks coaching as much as Donny. And if you look at Donny Buckley, Donny Buckley doesn't coach now what he did 10 years ago. He reinvents himself and he moves and adapts and actually more invents football rather than and follows the norm. And I think again it is that area expertise that many teams, whether it's a club team or a county team, that they seek. That coaching and football has gone so nuanced now that it really is a coach is a mainstay and a very, very important part of your setup. And I think what Kevin McStay brings, he brings all these pieces of the puzzle and he'll just arrange them around and set the jigsaw from that perspective. I guess
in the mind of a lot of people now, the doubts about some players whether or not they'd stay on, and thinking of Keegan primarily is almost put to bed here, because if you are Lee Keegan, you are getting on, but like I mean, it'd be hard to turn your back on this. We had him on OTB AM a couple of times in recent months. Certainly, from my perspective, I got the feeling that he would come back if the opportunity were right in his head. And what do you make of the older players? Will they stay on?
You know what? I think it's something new, and Kevin is something definitely new. And again, a lot of the players wouldn't have experienced Kevin from a club setup in Mayo because he's been living and managing in Roscommon. It kind of gives you a card, and I probably, Johnny, I was in the same scenario myself back in 2006, and I was gone, I was done, that was it, no more. And I was nearly sick of football. And all of a sudden, John O'Mahony comes in as manager, and I go, oh, geez, I don't want to miss this. I want to experience. I want to learn from him. I knew I was going to give it one more year the minute I heard that a new manager was coming in like John O'Mahony, and that will be the mindset of a lot of the players. It will nearly give them that little bit of reinventing this and to say, I will give it a shot, or I'd love to know what this setup will bring. And again, it has that bit of that link from Donny Buckley and Stephen Rochford also, that to have you going, I wouldn't mind getting back into the trenches with them guys as well. So it bodes well, and you know what? It's positive all around. It's positive from the process. It's positive from the selection. And I think it's positive for the future. And it's 4 years, so...
Yeah, 4 years. Exactly, David. 4 years. It's 4 more years, but it's 4 years, and that is a lot.
It's a massive amount. And again, and I think that the whole understanding is this just maybe is not just about Mayo football seniors. It is about the setup, the development squads, the underage squads. I think there is that greater picture will develop over the next weeks and months, that it's not just a one-hit wonder, and Kevin McStay is there to do a job. Yes, as supporters, as fanatics, and Mayo mad people. Yes, we want Sam Maguire to deliver, but I think it's the long-term strategy and the long-term 4-year appointment that is impressive as well.
Yeah, because he'll be nearing pension age by the end of the 4 years. He's 60 now, so like it's a big commitment for him as well. You know, he's a relatively old man to get involved in a role as big as this, but a high profile one. Just on the Mayo situation, like this year was an absolute damn squib by Mayo standards. Because in fairness, you know, a lot of near misses last year in particular, so close, probably. You know, the best chance Mayo have had in a long time. But this year was a whimper against Kerry. What's the feeling in the county? Injuries weren't exactly your ally this year. You know, things went wrong. Lost to Galway when you didn't really perform. But was it a good thing that you can just start afresh? Or, you know, what are the expectations in the county after this year?
Well, I think the realistic expectations was that we weren't playing with a full hand. And again, there was a lot of injuries and a lot of key players like Tommy Conroy and Ryan Donoghue. Coming back, Ryan Dunham coming back, but Tommy Conroy out, Diarmuid O'Connor. Diarmuid O'Connor has, I think it was 600 odd days there only a few weeks ago since he played his first club game. Killian was a long time out, and again, that him coming back and straight into it probably, you know, he was never going to achieve what he has achieved in the past. But again, someone like him probably is saying, you know what, and a lot of the boys that will be 28 or maybe are coming 3 or 4 years left, this is the manager for the rest of their lives, their football careers, and I think that is a positive as well, and they'll really roll in behind it. But again, there was an opportunity, and there was a scenario, and there was a situation in that second half against Kerry where Kerry left the gate open a little bit ajar, and Mayo didn't take that opportunity. Kicked some, I suppose, poor wides, poor decision making, and again, Kerry just closed it out. But a full strength Mayo team, and I think getting players back from injury, but also rehabbing and prehabbing a lot of them is going to be to the fore of Kevin's agenda.
What do you think of Aidan O'Shea going forward?
Aidan O'Shea has a role to play, and he's one player out of 35, and I think we could look at a different role. Maybe Kevin has in his mindset a different position for Aidan. I think this year he played everyone but full back really. Again, they tried him for 2 league games at centre. I think if you have a player that you know is capable of delivering, you find a place for him and you stick with him at that. And I think there could be definitely maybe a role in deeper from a forward perspective from Mayo. But Kevin will he'll work with each and every player, and he'll get the best out of them, and that's all you can ask for. But I can't see any announcements or any retirements really coming anytime soon for the main core of that squad.
And it really is the hope that kills you when you're a Mayo fan, isn't it?
So look, it's Johnny. If we won it, we'd have nothing to talk about, and we'd have nothing to live for. So yeah, the hope starts again, and it's great. It's absolutely great, and it gives that new kind of sense of rejuvenation as well from a supporter's perspective. And if I'm being honest, I felt it's dwindled a little bit. It's dampened a little bit after Tyrone, especially. But there's nothing like now something new for you to look forward in, new year, new management, and new possibilities.
Thanks a million for your time for coming on at such short notice, David.